Update: I, M38. Feel like I'm having to choose between my daughters and my wife, their stepmom. This was my first post. Thank you for giving me the idea of putting some cameras up. In just one night I was able to get enough to prove to their mom that my wife has in fact never been abusive to them and that it is actually the other way around. We sat them down and their mom asked them why they've been doing this, and all my 15-year-old had to say is that she hates my wife and also hates me for loving her more than I love them. They both refused to apologize to my wife like their mom asked. I told them I love them and always will whether I am married or not, but they can't come to my house until they're ready to apologize. Their mom is trying to find them a therapist, so hopefully that helps. In the meantime, if you have any advice on how to deal with this situation, I'm all ears. My ex-wife also apologized to my wife, which I feel helped her feel better about the whole situation. It's probably gonna take some time for them to realize what they did to SM. I'd make sure SM and the kids have space before the three all start having any interactions. And for you, you have to give them a lot of reassurance that you still love and cherish them more than you do your SM. See if you can get your ex to explain to the girls what she did was wrong and their actions aren't okay. This will take a couple of years, but best of luck to you all. Question: how much time do you spend with your girls without your wife? Obviously their behavior is completely unacceptable, but that might be a contributing factor as to why they hate your wife so much. Edit: because now 3 different people, including Op, have somehow interpreted my question as saying the wife should move out whenever the girls come over. Bro, it is not that hard to spend an hour or 2 away from your spouse once a month. Does she not have friends to visit? Errands to run? Can he not take his girls to a park? Seriously, do y'all not have any sort of life outside of the houses you live in? You should get into therapy too. You clearly rushed into this marriage and never really thought about how it might impact your daughters. She hates my wife and also hates me for loving her more than I love them. They're playing up because they don't feel loved. For them, it was too quick for you to start dating a 25-year-old just a few weeks after your divorce, move in and get married all within 2 years. You might have moved on well before the divorce went through, but it's surprising that you really never considered looking at the situation from your kids' point of view. Kids come first, dude. It's so obvious and yet so many men seem to miss it. Enjoy your estrangement, I suppose. If you're trying to become permanently estranged from your kids, you're doing a great job. If you actually care about them, maybe stop pushing a relationship with your inappropriately young wife. Get in family therapy ASAP. You and your wife need therapy too. They can't come to my house until they're ready to apologize. I sympathize with your situation, but this is wrong. They are your underage children. Whether you like it or not, your house is also partly their house. You should punish them or do whatever you have to do when they are with you, but banning them is extremely wrong. Significant Otheric: reading through these comments I notice a few things. You refuse to accept that moving into a relationship extremely quick after a divorce where there are children involved is idiotic. You did things the way you wanted without any input from them. Next, you really just told your kids not to come to your house until they apologize. They already feel unloved by you and you haven't done anything to prove them wrong. As shitty as their actions are, you aren't any better. When they walk out of your life for good, you have no reason to ask why or what you did wrong. Update: is a 12-year age gap okay? Original post link. Thanks for all those who replied to my post before. If you haven't seen it, basically it's someone who lied about his age. I am 19 and he's 31, and love bombed me. After reading all of your comments and advice, I tried to communicate to him how I felt and told him I wanted to take things slow, and so we did. I ignored the previous red flags since I've decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. But now, he told me something about himself to which I found out to be a lie again. I blocked him on all of my socials and deleted all of our chat. I've never ghosted anyone before, so I kinda feel bad since somehow I low-key did like him. I am making the right decision, no? You did the right thing for sure. Him lying about his age and things about him this early on is only a recipe for disaster. With that age gap too, that makes it worse. You made the right decision, not because of the age but because if he's lied twice already, he won't stop. Somehow I low-key did like him. You liked the mask he was wearing. Hats off to you for recognizing the red flags. Ghosting is definitely the right thing to do. A 30-something men or women chasing teenagers is always red flag. And while it's hard for women to get out of abusive relationship, it's double hard for gay men to get out of abusive relationship because of lack of family support and how society view homosexual relationship. Liars deserve to get ghosted. RIP. Why would a 31-year-old dude want to date someone who can't even buy a whiskey? Warning, warning, warning. My opinion is the following. If you're 25 or older and are with someone 25 or older, age gaps are just something you can't say shit about anymore. By that age I figure you have experienced life and school and you know what can be the best decisions. If you're 25 and younger, it's just a better idea to just stay within the 5-year age gap. If you're 14 years old or younger, should you really be dating? Because I do not think so, at all. Ghost him, girl, he was just going to use and abuse you. My brother-in-law asked if I'm sure I want to be with my husband. I'm 25F. My husband is 26M and brother-in-law is 23M. He is my husband's brother. My husband and I have been married for a year and have known each other for 3 years. From the beginning, brother-in-law always acted strange around me, like accidentally appearing naked several times in front of me. When I met my husband, brother-in-law was dating a girl. They broke up not long after and brother-in-law has been single ever since. He tried a few dates on dating apps but without success. He doesn't leave his own house. Sometimes he keeps saying he wants to find a woman who doesn't have emotional baggage. I think he keeps comparing me. I had a really bad childhood and I take pills for PTSD. My husband told me that when they were teenagers he was interested in a girl, and brother-in-law seduced her and dated her for a year. My husband is very shy, introverted, while brother-in-law is extroverted, likes bodybuilding and the gym. My husband doesn't have a statuesque body like Bill, but I find him extremely attractive the way he is, and he is comfortable in his own body, so everyone is happy. Except for Bill, who keeps body shamming my hubby. Well, this weekend me, my husband, my in-laws and brother-in-law went to a restaurant and ended up getting some piña coladas. My husband never drinks so he got drunk very easily. I stayed sober to take care of him, and brother-in-law didn't drink much either. We went to his parents' house afterward because my husband was too drunk to drive, and I don't drive. When he arrived he immediately passed out on the bed that was his before. I was resting in the room and watching videos on my cell phone waiting for him to sober up. Brother-in-law entered the room and started talking to my husband, who was sleeping, so he didn't answer. Then brother-in-law said to me, "Are you 100% sure you want a relationship with this?" I found it strange that he referred to his brother as this, and I said very seriously, "Yes. I love him." Then brother-in-law said, "Okay, enjoy then," and left. This was on the weekend, but I can't stop thinking. If I had to guess I would say that brother-in-law is jealous of my husband. But my mother thinks he might have feelings for me. Reddit, I need help. Don't take this the wrong way, but it isn't you. It's whoever your husband is with that your Bill would do this with. It sounds like your brother-in-law is jealous of your husband because he has feelings for you. I wouldn't think too much into it because you love your husband and your brother-in-law shouldn't get in the middle of it. It seems like your husband and brother-in-law have had some sort of rivalry for years now, and your brother-in-law views you as a possession of his brother's that he wants to steal as a power move. You're doing the right thing by shutting down brother-in-law every time. How do you think your husband would react if you told him about this interaction? That might be the right thing to do, just to keep everything out in the open. Bill is a low self-esteem loser. He doesn't have feelings for anyone but himself. He would attempt to steal you away from your husband just because he thinks he can. It stems from a very seated insecurity that he actually isn't anyone's choice. You need to tell husband, as brother-in-law is a creep and is continuing to break boundaries despite your comments to him. Since brother-in-law isn't respecting boundaries, you both should go no contact. Your marriage is sacred and should be respected. Brother-in-law obviously doesn't care about his brother or your relationship, as you well know. You both should not let brother-in-law insert himself into your marriage again, or undermine your husband, as it does sound like he may be a predator to your marriage. He is using disgusting grooming techniques that is meant to make an impact over an extended period of time. Even if you continue to affirm your love for your husband, this type of behavior won't stop. Block all contact. Your brother-in-law comes off a little rapey. Might want to avoid being alone with him. That creepy alpha male shit is cringe as fuck to do, family, and I mean his brother and you. He doesn't have feelings for you. He wants to have sex with you only to hurt his brother. Avoid this guy at all cost. Tell your husband everything and shut brother-in-law down. Examples. Are you sure you want a relationship with this? Hell yeah. He is hands down the best man I know. I don't WSNT anyone else. At all. In fact, I find anyone speaking ill of my husband incredibly repulsive. Edit to add next time he accidentally appears naked in front of you. Laugh and say, "Don't worry about it. Every time I see you naked I am reminded of just how much sexier my husband is. I'm sure you'll find someone who wants you, though. He is jealous of his brother because he thinks he is entitled to better things than him. I don't think he is interested in you. I think he just doesn't think his brother should have something he doesn't have. To him, you are just an object his brother has. Your husband is this, you are that." Righting a wrong to my wife in front of our kids. Hey folks, a little context here. Married 5 years. 2 boys ages 4 and 2. Wife is primary income earner. I take care of the kids and work 15 hours a week for supplemental income. I'm very conscious of the money I spend since I know my wife works hard and endures a lot of stress to earn it. She's a clinical pharmacist. I introduced our 4-year-old to the Choose Your Own Adventure book series and he was psyched. We jumped on Amazon and we picked out 3 together, totaling $25. Wife came home that day, seemed a bit irritated from work, and my son and I began to tell her about these books and our son was super excited. He told her we bought 3 and her reaction was first, "Why buy 3? Why don't we try to find these at the library first?" For some dumb reason I lied and said we only got 1 to try instead of 3. Fast forward to today, the package arrives with the 3 books and we tear into it. The very first thing I say to my son was, "Hey bud. Happy to see you excited about these books, but I did something very wrong yesterday by lying to mommy that we only got 1 when we really bought 3. I reinforced this to him and at 4 years old he's very receptive to these things. So then when my wife walked in the door, and in front of our son I said to her, "I lied to you yesterday and that wasn't right and I want to right my wrong." I explained everything maturely and did my best to ensure my son understood the whole situation. I know I lied over something stupid, but I think I taught my son a valuable lesson. My wife however thinks the lesson he learned is that it's okay to lie to mommy. What are y'all's thoughts? Honestly man, just you trying to explain all of this to him is probably more than a lot of us got. I'd say maybe it was you who learned a lesson here, and that is a very good thing. Setting an example over the course of time is a better teacher than a single lesson in my experience. You made it clear to them both what you did was wrong, and explained it to your child and righted it in front of him. That is very mature behavior. There's a lot of older people, older than us even, who wouldn't do such a thing, which reinforces to their own children that it's okay to lie and not make it right, continue on with no regards for others. Maybe it's a good time for your wife to explain to him from her own perspective how lying can be hurtful to the recipient of the lie. You basically showed your kid that you can lie to people, so long as you reveal it because you feel bad or because you know you're gonna get caught. Maybe teach your kid it's not okay to lie the first time and to be honest even if it can get you in trouble. Learn from mistakes and move on. I think you did right in admitting you were wrong. Maybe you could find a punishment that fits the crime for your lying, like you would do for your child if they were to lie, to show there are consequences for your actions. Something that doesn't also punish the child. I'm more concerned this financial situation isn't working out for the two of you. You seem cautious to spend any little money and your wife seems bummed to miss out on moments like this and upset when you do spend it. Good Lord. You bought books. You're not in the wrong at all. Honestly, I think there's a bigger problem here than the lie. People lie out of fear. You were so afraid of your wife's reaction that you felt the urge to lie about a $25 purchase. That's really not good. And unless you are completely spineless, which I don't think you are, it's kind of on your wife. Her attitude has created this dynamic where you don't feel safe being honest with her about even something this small that's for the benefit of your kids. She needs to be a safe person for your relationship and your family, or your kids will learn to lie to her without any help from you. You owned up to what you did. People make mistakes and I think you showed him it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. There's another lesson worth considering in all this that I don't see many people talking about. Op made a bad decision and lied to his wife over something insignificant. No, that shouldn't have been done, especially in front of his toddler. But he's also a human that's going to mess up and make mistakes from time to time. We shouldn't pretend like that isn't a part of life. By coming clean, apologizing to his wife and teaching his toddler that it isn't okay to lie, he's also teaching him that even good people will make mistakes. And it's okay to make mistakes if you sincerely try to correct them and curb that negative behavior.